LinkedIn DMs are the new gold rush for agency owners, coaches, consultants, and B2B SaaS companies on LinkedIn. Now, I've personally helped clients book between 50 and 30 calls a month just using DMs. And so in this video, I want to show you exactly how you can do the same. Now, this isn't going to be your basic just send more messages advice. I'm going to go deep into it. I'm going to be showing you the exact step-by-step process we use to turn viral lead magnets into leads in your inbox, into converted calls, straight down into profitable pipeline. Now, the first thing I want to mention is that booking calls from cold outbound DM is really, really hard. Like, it's so hard, in fact, that I don't think we should do it, generally speaking. And I've tested this across multiple accounts in multiple niches. And there's only a small sub-segment of niches where it works. Now, what I mean by this is if you send out a cold DM or cold connection request, if it's blank, you get the acceptance. If you try to DM and start a conversation and then try to transition that into a book call, it's just very hard. There's just like a very low acceptance rate on that booked call flow. Now, because of this, and because of the interest of everyone trying to not spend huge amounts of time DMing cold people, trying to work cold conversations, and realizing that LinkedIn has a full infinite message history, unlike cold email, the better way to think about doing cold outbound, or just doing outbound in general, or DM in general in LinkedIn, is thinking about warmth. So thinking about where are the warm leads in the ecosystem, who has intent to buy, and specifically talking to those people. And I can guarantee you, because we've run this test so many times, you see a 10x to 30x increase in your response rates in your DMs, purely from talking to the right people, even with the exact same messaging. So one of the best ways to harvest and find intent in the market is by creating lead magnets and sending them out in DMs. So what I mean by this, a lead magnet is a resource, it's a valuable thing that you give away on LinkedIn. So you say something along the lines of, hey, I've done some cool stuff, I'm giving it away for free, here's what's inside, and comment and like and connect to access to it. Now, what happens if you have a great lead magnet that addresses a very specific pain point? A lot of people will comment, like, and connect with you for it. What they're effectively doing is saying, hey, I have this pain point, this resource would help me. They're effectively raising their hand. Now, the amazing thing about this is it shows intent. It shows that there's a reason for them to want this resource. It shows that there's something that is interesting about that resource to them that might help them in their business. Now, what happens is you give away this resource, people connect with you, you DM it to them as a link or whatever you give it to. And what happens is you create a bias and a value exchange. So what I mean by that is you're giving away value in the DM is one of your first interactions. And that's so powerful. Now, it's so powerful because you've got an inbound connection request. We are on LinkedIn limited to the number of outbound connections we can send. I'd rather get 500 inbounds so I don't have to use my limits. So imagine you get a bunch of inbound connection requests. All these people are saying they have a pain point that's related to what you're solving. And so you're getting a lot of people that are pre-filtered inside your DMs. And that's like step one. We're now talking to the right people that are warm, that have intent, as opposed to speaking to a bunch of cold connections that we're trying to outbound to. Now, we've had so many lead magnets go viral. I can throw them up all on the screen around me, from Paolo's profile, from my profile. And all of these had worked really well to create trust in the market. Now, many of these lead magnets resulted in lots of book calls. So for example, some of these lead magnets booked in 10 calls, 5 calls, 20 calls, all from a single post, which is pretty much incredible. And once you give out that lead magnet, it just makes having conversations and having DM conversations so much easier. So now I'm going to explain to you how you go from sending out this lead magnet, creating it, which I've spoken about in a previous video, and now transitioning that creation of the lead magnet into a booked call or into a conversation. So I'm going to go straight into the details. There are primarily two ways to book calls from a lead magnet. So the first way is called embedding. So we want to embed call to actions and opportunities to book in a call throughout the lead magnet. So firstly, let's imagine you have a lead magnet. It's been created, maybe it's 5 pages, 10 pages, maybe it's a Figma file, a Miro board, whatever it is. It's a long piece of document or it's a long resource. Now, firstly, throughout that lead magnet, you can add call to actions that directly correlate to the pain point you're solving. So for example, say your lead magnet was an automation guide. Your call to actions can be, hey, we can just automate this for you. Like, now you know how we do it. Let us just do the work for you. And you can embed these CTAs as small micro commitments, let's say, throughout the lead magnet in small parts at the right time. So we call this using breadcrumb call to actions, and you can place them all throughout your lead magnet. The second level is right at the end of your lead magnet, add in a monster call to action. Add in the call to action that really goes big, states out the outcome that you can deliver, your promise, etc. Go big on that outcome, go big on the promise, and have a direct link to book in a call or DM you on LinkedIn to have a conversation. Now, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to catch people whilst they're consuming information and make them aware that, hey, even though I gave you something for free, I still have something to sell. Now, the second, maybe less automated way, but more natural method to book in a call is through manual DM setting. So what that means is once you've given away a lead magnet, the first thing you do as you give away the lead magnet is you go, hey, thanks for commenting, thanks for liking, here's the resource, by the way. And then you ask a question. You ask a leading question that almost leads the prospect into a conversation with you that might encourage a conversation about the sales process or about booking a call. Now, choosing this question is kind of hard. Let me give you some frameworks to help you do that and give you some examples. So the question should be incredibly easy to answer and related to what you're selling. So what that means is if I'm giving away a lead magnet and it's on ad swipe files, I might go, hey, look, here's the ad swipe file guide. Thanks for commenting. By the way, how many ads are you creating every month? It's super simple, it's super clear, and it's very easy to answer. Now, if they answer and they say it's a small number, they're essentially saying, hey, I'm not capable, or internally, we're not capable of producing a lot of ad creatives. We probably have a pain point here. And it's extremely easy for you with that data to transition it into a booked call. Now, the key point about these questions is they shouldn't come across too direct. Remember, we're just trying to start a conversation. We're not trying to book in the call on the first message. Now, once they reply to it, you've got some conversation moving along, and then we like to follow a 3-step process. We call it qualify, probe, and snatch. So firstly, we like to qualify the lead. So sometimes you can just qualify the lead by going over to their LinkedIn profile, seeing their company size, seeing their business. Essentially trying to identify, does this person look like a good fit firmographically for our business? Then you might want to spend a couple questions qualifying the lead in the DMs. You might ask what their revenue is. You might ask how big is their team. Like, you might just try to get a sense of a feel of how big their business is. And when we're trying to qualify leads in the DMs, we're not trying to go too hard. We're just trying to get 1 or 2 questions at most, because if you ask too many questions, there's too much back and forth, and it causes too much strain and causes too much friction for the respondent on the other side. Now, after you've qualified a lead, you then go into probing mode. When you're probing, you're trying to squeeze on pain points. You're trying to identify what they're struggling with. So a probe, for example, in the ad creative example, where they said, hey, I don't create many ad creatives, you might go, hey, oh, that's interesting. Typically of businesses of your size, I see people producing 30, 40 ad creatives a month, not 10. Again, we're probing. We're trying to go a little bit deeper. They may go, oh, we don't have an internal person to do it. Oh, we're still trying to work out scale. We really recently scaled to this number. They tell you some data, they tell you some information. And then finally, the snatch. The snatch is when you come in and you snatch a call from the conversation. A snatch basically means going, hey, that's super interesting. We have some data, we have some resources, would love to share you on a call. So we're giving something of slight value in that conversation, but we're snatching that conversation from going from just a conversation into something tangible for you, which is a sales call. Now, when you do that process of qualifying, probing, and snatching, you're able to convert high intent people that want to chat to you into a book call. And I promise you the conversation goes so much easier on the sales call because that's not your first interaction anymore. You've already had a bit of a back and forth. They've already consumed your lead magnet. They already know what you sell. They've already gone through your LinkedIn profile. They are a warm lead. And so you don't have to do as much work selling on the sales call than you would have done otherwise. Now, I could have stopped this video just there, but I want to keep on going and give you even more value. What if you send a lead magnet and they don't respond to your lead magnet question? Great. It's super easy. You just send them a follow-up message saying, hey, how was the resource? How was the lead magnet? How was the thing that I just gave you? That really helps very easily, very quickly just restart conversations. Now, you obviously don't want to do that to every single lead. It will take you lots of time. You want to focus on the leads that are qualified firmographically and that look quite interesting to you. And for those of you who are watching this video and have had these conversations with people and have had back and forth exchanges, you probably ran into a new pain point. You probably found that they were objecting to you in the DM. They maybe were asking for pricing information too early. They were saying that they don't need your help. All these objections are easily handled in the DM process by doing 2 things: being vague but specific, and still encouraging the book call to go through the details. So when someone asks me pricing, I'm vague. I say, oh, I don't really have an exact number for you, but I'm specific. Oh, I have a range. It goes from anything from like 1 to 10K a month, for example. It all depends on the scope. Happy to share the exact breakdown on a call once I understand what you're looking for. So I've been vague, I've been specific, and I've still tried to transition that into a book call. So that's generally how I like to answer those questions. Again, be vague, be specific, and then transition into the book call. And that's it. That's exactly how you implement a warm DM strategy that works on LinkedIn in 2024 to book in intentful leads that actually convert into a booked call and convert into a paying client down the line. Now, if you follow every single step in this video, I can make a promise to you that you will definitely book in more sales calls. You will definitely close more clients and you will definitely build more pipeline. But Doing this alone is easier said than done. There are a bunch of things that have to happen correctly. 1, you have to know the right pain point you're doing to serve the lead magnet. You have to create the first viral lead magnet. You have to go viral with the lead magnet. You then need to have a great script that gives away the lead magnet with a great opening answer or question even. You then need to qualify that lead, probe that lead, and then snatch that conversation. There are a bunch of small micro steps here that are vital for you to book in that call and close that deal. Now, in the end, the time you take and the investment you take to try and do it yourself may cost you more than you think. It costs you the opportunity cost of getting it wrong for several months until it starts working. Now, if you want to skip all that pain, down below I'm giving away a free resource that actually helps you create lead magnets. It gives you a quick guide on how to do everything I've described on this video and a bit more. And it's the same stuff that we use internally to book in 15 to 30 calls a month from LinkedIn. So you can click down below, you can get access to that resource, and you can go through that free training and you can start improving your process. If you don't want to do it all yourself, you can also reach out to us and book in a call, and we'd be happy to chat about what would work best for your business.